Alright, what is going on, guys? It is Jared or Dreamers from Designs Academy, and today I am bringing you a little tutorial on how to make this cool looking sticker bomb style kind of Twitter header. You can do this for a lot of different things, a lot of different kind of stuff. You could do wallpapers, all kind of whatever, mess with sizes. Anyway, let's hop right in. For this tutorial, you'll need all these stickers. I've included a little PSD that you can use. I'll put this in the description below. It's just this little sticker pack I put together. Here you'll find every single sticker that's in this little pack here, and I've even included a little folder. This is the ones I'm going to be using in this tutorial, so if you'd like to follow along exactly as I'm doing, you can use this folder. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new document. I'm going to make it 1500 by 500 with a resolution of 144 pixels per inch, and the color mode is going to be RGB with an 8-bit resolution. So there's that. I like to work on a darker starting point, but we're going to be doing that anyway, so I'm probably going to go around here, around 80, 78. So I'm going to be going with maybe a little bit darker. And I'm going to set up the background. So I used like a brick wall kind of texture for this. I didn't save it, so let me go ahead and pull that up. I just googled high contrast brick wall, and the first thing that comes up is this guy here, and it just looks pretty nice. I'm gonna blow it up just a little bit so it fits my canvas here, and I am going to go to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur, and this is just because I don't want to see like all the crazy sharp detail. I just want to blur it out a little bit. And then I'm going to name that backing, and I'm going to turn the opacity down a little bit, around 15%. I'm also going to add a gradient. I usually just do this under all my stuff. It's just a darker gray, almost black, right before black, kind of this gray area, and then up here towards the middle, a little bit below. Just a little bit up, and I'm going to take this gradient and I'm just going to drag it across this way. I'm going to find a spot that looks nice. That probably looks about good to me. I might bump the opacity down a little bit. So here we have these. Actually, yeah, we'll leave that on normal. Alright, so next I'm going to start by having some text on here, and the font I'm using for this is called Chardons. I forget, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, and then you can just type out whatever you want. I'm just going to be using my name here, and I'm going to create some guidelines. You can do that by toggling your rulers, Control R, and right clicking and setting it to %. That way you can get the perfect 50 and 50 in the middle, and then I like to just put these on the edges as well. So I'm going to press Control T to transform, and I'm going to center this all. Use the arrow keys if you need to, and I'm going to just make it a little smaller. Now this text, usually, or for this tutorial, I'm going to be making it a gray text. It doesn't matter really what color it is for now, but also I wanted to fix this little gap between the R and the D, and the way I go about this, if the font isn't like aligned perfectly, you can change the kerning, which is pretty much just the spacing between the letters. If you only want it in one spot, you just add a space and select it, press Control and T for your text options, and just turn the vertical alignment or the spacing here. I'm just gonna press it together there, and that's just how I'd prefer it to be there, and you can close this tab group now. So I'm gonna get this nice little outline on the outside here first by not creating a stroke, but I'm going to hold Control and click on the thumbnail of the text here, and that just selects everything on that layer. And I'm going to go to Select, Modify, and Expand, and I'm going to expand it by 10 pixels. And I'm going to make a new layer underneath my text, and I'm just going to make it white. Doesn't really matter what color it is, but I do this because adding a stroke, you have a little bit less control over some things, but yeah. Here I'm going to add a gradient overlay on top of that kind of outside stroke that we just added, and it's going to be a really light stroke, almost like a light gray, probably like here, around 180, and that's just might make it a little bit darker. And then the scale can probably go down a little bit. I'm just gonna move that, and I'm gonna add a drop shadow. Opacity all the way up, distance 0, and the size can go up a little bit. So here we've got this. Now I'm going to start adding the stickers. First I'm going to name this layer, then I'm going to name that stroke. So yeah, I'm going to start adding the stickers. I already have this folder created of the ones I was going to use, and I used in the previous example. So I'm going to start using those. I need to put everything underneath the stroke, and that's just so that, you know, it's not between the letters of your text and your stroke. So all these are in color right now, but I'm just gonna make each of them black and white. But first of all, I need to select all of these. So I'm gonna click the top one, hold Shift, and I'm gonna click the bottom, and I'm gonna right click and rasterize layers, and you can just hide the rest of these now. And I'm just gonna, how you make things black and white is you go to Image, Adjustments, and Black and White. Some of these you might feel like maybe it's not quite what you were looking for as far as the color goes. If that's the case, or how dark it is and stuff, if that's the case, just add a quick curves, and you can move it down to make it darker, up to make it lighter, and usually a combo of both makes a little bit better tone for what you're looking for. Not specifically on this one because it's only one tone, but if you're going to do that, add a curves, clip it, and just highlight both of these and Control E to merge them together. So I'm going to make, if you do that, I'm going to make it just back into a smart object and just scale it to wherever I'd like, and you kind of just place these around your text. And I'm just going to do this with each one of the stickers I've selected: Image, Adjustments, Black and White, and convert it to a smart object, and just kind of scale it and place it where I'd like. Same thing, and I may speed up this process just because it's pretty self-explanatory, just making things black and white and then placing them where you think it looks good. This is a pretty good example, this sticker here, of when I would want to add a curves. But first of all, there's this little line here, so I'm just going to take a rectangle selection and delete that. Now as you can see, if I go to Image, Adjustments, and Black and White, it's kind of just all one gray tone, and it doesn't really stick out a lot. There's not a lot of contrast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a curves, and I'm going to clip it onto that layer, and then I'm kind of just going to pull this down a little bit maybe, and up a little bit, just to give it a little bit more contrast. So you can see, just looks a little bit better. It's not a huge difference, but I like it. much better, because it kind of just gets rid of all those single gray tones. I'm going to merge that together, convert it to a smart object, and scale and place where I think it works best. I don't know why those moved over. And I think I am going to speed this up just so you don't have to sit through all of this, because you're just repeating the same steps with different images over and over again. So I'm going to speed this up and I will be back for the next steps. Alright guys, now that I've got all my stickers arranged behind all of my stuff, I'm just going to group this stuff together. This is going to be text and this is going to be my stickers. I know I didn't use these two, but I think they're just kind of big and hard to place on stuff just a little bit, but you can use them if you like. Next thing I'm going to do is get rid of kind of this grayish boring stuff on the text. And I'm going to do that by duplicating my stickers layer, and I'm going to press Ctrl E to merge it all together. I'm going to go up and I'm going to move it on top of my text. I'm going to clip it here on top of my text. You can do this by holding Alt in between your two layers, and see when that little arrow underneath the box comes up, that's when you know you're going to clip. So I'm just going to turn that opacity down a little bit. And I'm going to add a gradient overlay on top of this. A little black to white. And I'm just going to set that to overlay. Turn it down a little bit. And a drop shadow. Actually, we'll skip on the drop shadow. I think I just need to make the text a little darker. A little bit of darker gray, that way it's a little easier to see. So here we have this in our stickers. So what I'm going to do here is, in order to create this kind of big effect in the background, I'm going to duplicate my text and my stickers by pressing Ctrl J, and I'm going to merge them together by pressing Ctrl E again, and I'm going to move it down below what I already have. I'm going to convert it to a smart object, and I'm going to press Ctrl T to transform. I'm just going to scale that up quite a bit and tilt it just a little bit to the side, however much you think. And I'm going to go, I'm actually going to rasterize, so I didn't need to do that. I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. And then I'm just going to turn it up just a little bit. Not too much to the point where it's super blurry and you can't see anything, but just a little bit. I'm going to click OK. Around 2.5 is the radius that I used. Click OK. And I'm going to change the blending mode from normal to hard light. And I'm going to turn the opacity down. One thing I forgot to mention as well is that on your stickers layer, actually I spelled that wrong. On your stickers layer or your folder, I'm going to go to Effects and I'm going to go to Gradient Overlay. And I just do this after on top of the folder just because it gets all of them with one gradient, as opposed to applying the same gradient and layer style to all each individual sticker. It's just a little easier, a little faster, but it's just a thing to like speed it up your process a little bit. But you can do it each sticker if you prefer. Change that to soft light. The opacity is going to go down a little bit, and then a drop shadow as well, just to give it a little bit of depth. You could even add an inner glow on this. I don't know if it would look good, but you could probably even add an inner glow here if you like. I think it looks pretty okay. And we can close that. Now I'm gonna create this little border here, and I'm gonna do that by making a new layer, and I'm gonna press Control A, and that selects everything. So Control A selects everything and the whole canvas size, and I'm gonna go right click, stroke, inside, make sure that's checked. I'm gonna make the color white and the width of 4 pixels. Click OK. Actually, I think I did the wrong color there. That white, and just have that. And it's hard because you can't really select modify contract from the inside, but anyway, I'm going to press Control T to transform, hold Alt and Shift to keep it around the center anchor point, and I'm just gonna scale it down a little bit. Now to match this, you kind of have to do it by eye a little bit. There's probably a better way to do it, but I just don't know of anything yet, so I'm just gonna hold Alt and I'm gonna grab this side point and then Shift as well, and it's gonna drag out both sides. But just by eye, you kind of have to see where this looks even. And that looks pretty close. So there's your border, and now we're getting close to being done here. I just need to create a quick little color correction on top of this, and I'm gonna do that adding a gradient map. This is just gonna be a black to white gradient map. For some reason mine was backwards, but if that happens, you can just click the reverse box, you'll be okay, and turn this down to around 15% on overlay, blending mode of overlay. Around 15% is good. And I'm also going to add a curves. I'm gonna make it a little darker, and then bring this up to just up that contrast. I'm gonna add a new layer, a fill layer. I'm going to do this by going to layer, new fill layer, solid color, and just click OK, and I'm going to go to blue, so like this deep blue in the middle, and I'm just going to get down here and get something close to black and gray but still blue, kind of like a navy color, if you will. And the opacity, just leave it on normal blending mode. The opacity can go down a lot, around 20 is good. And then I'm also going to add some lights. So get a soft brush, new layer, and we'll add just a nice top light here. Click a couple times, turn the opacity down around 30, 35, it's good. And I'm gonna make a new layer, name this top light, this is border, and I'm gonna do our little zigzag pattern again. So if you watch my previous tutorials, you know what I'm talking about. But so I'm gonna start down low, I'm gonna go up, and then I'm gonna go down again, up, and then down, just a little zigzag pattern with your white brushes. And I'm gonna set that to overlay. So for some lighting, you can turn it down however much you think. I'm gonna set mine around 35 again. And yeah, so we've just quickly created this little sticker bomb style little banner header. Of course you can do this with other things besides just text. You could do this with images, you could do this with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of options. The only thing I have to recommend is that you be careful with the stickers you're using as far as if you're selling your work, because of course copyright and licensing. So for say if you're trying to use, oops, undock that. If you're trying to use a Vans logo, you can't really sell that to a client without permission or a certain license, because you can get in some serious trouble for that. So I would recommend just be careful with what stickers you're using if you're using this for client work. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Jared, and I am getting out of here. Peace.